What's up, guys? We are back with another Mythic Legions All-Star 6 review, taking a look at a little bit of a different kind of skeleton figure today. We're taking a look at SKALLI Bonesplitter. This is one for a couple of reasons I've really been looking forward to. The first of which is that he's just a different type of character. He's a dwarven skeleton, and I've said in the past, I'm not the biggest dwarf guy, but a dwarven skeleton, I'm definitely more interested than if it was just a regular fleshy dwarf, I guess. But he also comes with pauldrons that I've really been dying to get a hold of ever since the Deluxe Legion Builder Gladiator, because he finally includes both sides of that pauldron that up until now, we've only gotten one of. He is still in our standard packaging for the line. He's a regular figure, so you've got him there in the window. We've got his Necronominous faction card on one spine. You've got a bio and portrait on the other. And then just like the rest of this wave, he has the Necro artwork on the backer card, Necro cross-sell, and then of course our write-up for Mythos. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Mythic Legions SKALLI Bonesplitter. So again, a skeleton dwarf. And I'm not the biggest dwarf guy, you know, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of dwarves, not for any reason other than I just prefer other stuff. But I really like the idea of this. It makes perfect sense. There's no reason why there shouldn't be different races that are represented as skeletons in this line, and well, here we are. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He is still a 1.0 figure, he's a dwarf, so if you've messed with anything really in this line, you basically know what to expect here. He is going to be fairly limited at the head, and this is kind of a problem with a lot of dwarves in general, especially the dwarves that have beards, you know, and you can obviously see why. He does have that other extra neck piece that juts forward a little bit. You've got a little tilt side to side now. If you don't have the horns on him, obviously he's going to tilt a little bit further, but he's going to look weird without the, you know, the stuff sticking out of his head. You can swivel a little bit. There isn't much up or down though, so he is fairly locked down, but you can get his head cocked off to the side well enough. Arms on this guy are going to go out. You know, of course they swivel. We've got our single jointed swiveling elbow, so you get, you know, like a full 90 there. You can swivel the gauntlet, but because of how he's set up, I'm not so sure that that really counts as much. It's just a piece that moves. And then on him in the box, you've got vertical hinge wrists, and then you've got rotation. He's got a single, you know, normal 1.0 torso, so that's your hinge forward and backward. It's a tilt side to side for some shimmy, and then of course you've got your waist twist there. Your legs are going to go all the way out, as is normal for skeleton legs, even though these are little short, stocky skeleton legs. They have full range. They're pretty tight there, actually. They kick forward, they kick all the way back. There is no thigh cut, as usual. We've got our single jointed knee, but there's pretty solid range on this. And then you've got swivel at the knee. You've still got your swivel at the top of the ankle. Really, really good rocker down there. And then, of course, we've got our hinges. So he is, I mean, through and through, he's a 1.0 figure. No surprises, nothing really weird going on here. He just has some different parts to make him, you know, a short skeleton. And then there is some limitations, really only at the head and the neck. Truly, though, the main focus for this figure is what's different about him from your average skeleton. So he's not a full skeleton, you don't have a skeletal torso, but you have skeletal limbs. We have I mean, it's got some skull on the face, and then he's got skeletal feet. The big thing with this guy is, well, the little side of him. He is a diminutive, he's a shorter skeleton, so he's a dwarf. He's got short, stocky legs, and he utilizes the dwarven-style short calves, shins, to actually make him, you know, fairly weird in terms of proportions. Like his legs are essentially just as big as the torso, really. They're very, very stocky, stubby little legs, and they make him much, much different compared to your average skeleton. You know, so just for comparison's sake, you know, here he is with a normal skeleton, a skeleton legion builder, so you can see just how different this is in terms of size, and it's all because of the legs. The legs are really, really short and stocky, and they make him very small. He does have a lot of reused parts here, but he also has some new stuff too because of those you know, shorter thighs. We've got, I guess this is probably a newer belt, newish belt, if it's not entirely unique to him. This is a new head sculpt, and then one of the coolest aspects of this figure is, I mean, it's one of the more mundane because it's something we get with like every figure, but the pauldrons. So this pauldron set is new as a set. We got one of these, and I'm trying to remember which one. It's the left, or obviously it's left or right. We got one of them with the Deluxe Gladiator Legion Builder a few years back, and that figure only came with one, and these were never seen again. Much to my annoyance, honestly, because those are some of my favorite pauldrons of recent years. they're just so cool and different with these massive skulls sticking out. It's one of the few things I actually went and, you know, did some custom work on and painted some up for a custom figure that I did. But it's really cool to actually have a full set that I can use with other figures, or of course, you know, keep them on him. But they're fully painted. They've got some gunmetal, some silver, some gold. I just really like the design of those, and they do work. I think they work fairly well with a Viking-style skeleton dude. He does feature a relatively lesser used torso. I believe this is the Poxis torso, so it's one of those that has the removable chest plate. So you've got that, but it's done up in a fairly unique color scheme, and it's pretty glaring in terms of how different it is from the rest of them. It's this bright metallic blue, and the metallic on it works really well. It very much shines, but it's very stark comparison to what is a very dark and sort of dingy coppery bronze color for those bracers and the calves. And then, of course, he has a silver set of armor for the pauldrons and the helmet. So he's definitely like one of those skeletons that seems kind of like a mishmash of parts for whatever reason. That seems to happen quite a bit, but I do like that torso. I'm really curious what else I might be able to use it with. But the color on it absolutely pops. Very much a shiny, brand new metallic kind of look. And then this head sculpt, I really like this. Big fan of, as dumb as it kind of is, I'm a big fan of skeletons with beards just because it's ridiculous. So it's kind of cool that he's still kind of continuing that from things we've seen with like Thrasis in this wave. But he's definitely got a very dwarven Viking style of helmet with the braids and the beard. You do have some other adornments and, you know, ornamentation for the head if you don't want to use the horns. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then he has a lot of intricate, very Viking style of line work and sculpt work on the actual helmet itself. There's some pretty intricate filigree work there. And then you have just the touch of a skull peeking through. You can see his nose. And of course you can see that sort of jagged maw of teeth. So this guy is pretty cool. There's a lot of little things about him that I really like. You know, the new parts to make him small. The torso color in particular, I like this head, and I really love. I mean, I can't stress enough how much I'm happy with getting this second pauldron to have a full set of them finally. But I think taken as a whole, he looks really different and is going to stand out among a lot of the newer skeletons we've gotten. Now, as far as accessories goes, SKALLI has, well, quite a bit, and that's very much the theme these days. That there's just literally so much in these packages and so much included with every single figure. It's crazy to go back and look at the figures that came out in the first wave that included almost nothing by comparison. And now we're almost getting, no one likes it when I say this, but we're almost getting too much stuff because they just throw everything that can possibly fit with a figure in the box. So to start with, we do get an extra head sculpt. This is not a new head. This is the same head that came with the deluxe Barbarian Legion builder. And he's got some different ornamentation that sticks out of the sides. These are pretty cool. Like, I really like these. They're like big blades almost, and they can, of course, be swiveled around if you want. I do find that this head is just as, if not maybe a little bit more problematic on this neck peg with these big pauldrons. There's a lot of stuff going on in the shoulder, head, neck region for this figure. So that area is fairly locked down. Like, it'll still swivel a little bit, and you can kind of move it around. But a lot of stuff kind of likes to move. So just, you know, be patient, I suppose, when you're posing this guy around. But I really do like this head sculpt with this paint job. There's a lot more paint on this time around in a different way than that first Barbarian release, however long ago that was. We get some extra hands, and you get some extra ankles as well, because he's got the bone feet. He's got bone feet, the exposed feet down here. And of course, there are different styles and different shapes of 1.0 calves and shin pieces. So sometimes you might need a different one. This is one of the harder pieces to swap, but you do get an extra set of the ankles with the different style of peg. I suppose that was the wrong side. This is the side that you would put into the leg. And then you get another set of gripping hands. He doesn't get a hand pack equivalent or anything, but you do get two sets of gripping hands, vertical on him in the box and then lateral hinging. And then you also get a whole bunch of other normal accessories. So we get a strap to start with. This is one of those smaller ones, the really thin ones with the singular painted buckle. We get one of the dwarven swords. And of course, we've seen all this stuff too. This is one of the more recent things. We'll get the Warhammer. So we saw this in the Necronominus wave. They're all done up in kind of like a dingy bronze gunmetal-y color scheme. We get the sort of runic axe, which again, we've seen that before. We get the Dwarven Shield. We've definitely seen this, but I don't know that we've seen this too recently. Every time I say that, someone reminds me that it came out just like a week ago. But I really like this one. It's got that very runic styling, all of those etchings and everything in there. And then lastly, because I don't know, some people need them these days now because there's a wing pack here. We do get the back adapters. I'm not going to run through them all, but you get all 3 of the back adapters with this guy as well. So he very much does have a lot of stuff. Oh, and the shield also includes the handle and the clasp, not just one or the other. But he does come with a lot of stuff. 3 different weapons, a shield, 4 hands, 2 different heads, the 2 pauldrons. You've got 2 different sets of helmets, doodads, a strap. This guy is fairly loaded for such a little dude. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this little guy, and that's ironically a big part of why. It's that he's a little guy. I like the idea of having different styles of characters and races being skeletons. It makes perfect sense. It works really well. Obviously, a dwarf has a skeleton inside of his body. Why can't he be a skeleton in this line? So here we are. It adds a little bit of variation on the shelf, changes things up. Obviously, it's a way to army build skeletons and mix and match and swap parts in a new and different way. But I also really do like the way he looks. I love, and I again can't stress it enough, I love the fact that they finally gave us that other pauldron that went with the deluxe Gladiator years back. So now we have a full set. You can use them with other figures, but it also works pretty well with this sort of Viking style skeleton dude. He does have a few hangups in terms of articulation, mostly around that neck and the head because of all the stuff that's going on up there, especially with the beard. But overall, especially in conjunction with the arsenal of accessories he comes with, this guy's pretty solid. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legions All-Star 6 SKALLI Bonesplitter. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.